You have been told all your life that where you come from really determines how far you can go in life. But I'm here with today's video to disprove that, okay? And that is why I want you to stick around with me until the end of this video so that you will not miss out on any important parts. I want you to know that in life, your environment does not limit you in any way, but rather your mindset does. I know in reality, your environment can really be a challenge to you. Your environment can really limit your options in life. Your environment might really be a noisy and crowded one, but trust me, it does not have the power to limit you in any way if you did not give your environment that power, okay? And how do I disprove it? Now, two persons can really grow up in the same environment, in the same house, with the same training. But have you not seen that these two persons will grow and they are going to have different lifestyles, different lives altogether, as if they did not even grow up the same place? It will look as if they've not even met before. And what is really bringing this difference? That is the question this video will answer. The answer is not the environment. The answer is their mindset, how they think. And so I want you to know that your environment does not determine whether you'll be successful or you won't in life. And that is only happening because if you are in a certain environment that is challenging, that is full of difficulties and limitations to your options, and if you have a positive mindset, you will see that although there are a lot of constraints in your environment, you will still come out successful in life. And that is because of the way you think. And the whole thing is how you think in this your environment that you are is what will determine how far you will go in life. And that is why you can see all around you, although people say the rich will get richer and the poor will get poorer, it is not because of their environment. It is because the rich people, they have a mentality, while the poor people also have a mentality. And that is the only thing that always make the rich people to get richer and the poor always get poorer. And if you look in reality, if a child comes from a poor background with illiterate parents, and the child looks at the challenges around him or her and decides to have a different mentality from the one the parents have, you will see that although this child came from a poor background, came from a racial background, but this child will come out and become successful. And that is to tell you that it is not the environment. It is because this child decided to look at the environment, to look at the parents and say, no, my parents are not well-to-do. I don't want to be like them. I will do things differently so that I won't end up like them. So what is saving this child from becoming like the parents is a mentality that the child have. And that is a mentality that most successful people have. Your environment is not the reason why you are stuck in life. And you have been deceived all your life. You have been led by this great lie of how your environment is keeping you stuck, of how your environment is making you to be left behind. But I'm here to tell you that you are seeing yourself as stuck. You are seeing yourself as failing and left behind because of the way and manner you think in this environment you are. Now, when you have a strong mindset, then you are free. Because when you are faced with the same challenges of this environment you have fewer options. You have a lot of challenges, difficulties, noisy area, crowded area. But then, because of the way you think, you will not be like them. You will not be influenced by the environment. And that is why you can grow up in the ghetto. But if you have a different mindset, even when you tell someone you grew up from the ghetto, they will say no. Why are they saying no? Because of the way you think. Because your reasoning level is so different from maybe the ghetto people they used to know. And that is the power of your mindset. If you have a positive mindset, when you are faced with the challenges of your environment, you won't say, oh, why me? Why will all these things happen to me? Why will I find myself here? But if you have a positive mindset, you guess what you will say? How am I going to come out of this state? This is where I find myself. Challenges, this is my environment. You can't run away from that fact. You can't change the fact that you are from that environment. But you can change your situation by the mindset you have. And so instead of you to start complaining, to start blaming people, to start pointing fingers, you will sit down and ask yourself, how can I get out of this state I am? That is a positive mindset. But the negative one, instead of you to look for a way forward on how you can overcome the challenges, you will sit down relaxing, wasting your time lamenting. Why me? If not you, it's going to be who? It's not a matter of why me, it's how are you going to get out of that state? How can you make the situation you meet better? That is what will bring the difference. And that is why I told you that two people can grow up from the same environment, but they won't be the same. What is bringing that difference is their mindset. How they think in that their environment is what makes them different from each other. Now, let me put a personal experience with you, okay? When I decided to start content creation, I traveled, for flood break, and when I came back, I noticed that I'm not getting network in my home. And so I started asking my neighbors, what is the issue? I can't get network. And they said, we are being disconnected. We don't have mass again. I said, what happened? They said, there is an issue. Okay, and so they disconnected us. We don't have network. I was like, wow, how am I going to do? I didn't say anything. I left. I said, is this network going to be a barrier for me? Fine, it is a barrier. Is it going to stop me from my dream? I said no. What is the way forward? How will I overcome this network issue? I went out. I started looking for locations where I can get network to browse. And so I was able to get, and I disciplined myself. I planned myself to make sure that I create my content, and then I go to those places to upload my video. That's what I'm trying to say. My environment gave me a challenge that would have made me to say, oh, I can't do this. Why me? Now that I want to do something like this, but I told myself, I am unstoppable except I decide that I don't want to move. And so that was what I did to overcome the challenge I face as a result of where I stay. And I have another challenge. And what is that? Lights. Light is an issue. I can pay my bill, but I won't see lights to use. And so what is the way forward? You and I know that for me to create content, I need lights. I need to power my phone. So how will I do that? It's supposed to make me to stop. There is nothing I can do to change the environment. I can't give light to everyone, but at least in my own part, I can do it. And what did I do? I had to get a power bank. And so if I charge my power bank, I can use that to power my phone. And this is what I'm trying to explain to you. Your environment does not have the power to limit you in life, does not have the power to tell you how far you can go in life. It is your mindset. So I'm trying to tell you that, fine, your environment is a situation you can't control, but then you can control how you think by changing it, by having a positive mindset towards situations you find yourself in your environment. You are unstoppable, and that is why I am bringing this video onto you. You see, growth does not start with money. So don't say, oh, I am where I am because I don't have money. No, money is not the issue. Growth starts from awareness. You need to be aware of who you are, of where you are. And you have to discipline yourself. When you know who you are and where you are, what is the next thing? You need discipline. You need discipline to plan yourself on how you move, on how you do things, so that your environment will not become a barrier, but your environment will be a means for your breakthrough. You will see beyond the limits of your environment. You will see solutions. And so instead of you to see your environment as something that will cage you, you rather see yourself as a solution. And what is the next thing? For you to grow, you need to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, who will? You have a dream, you have a goal, you have a vision. And you see your dream, your goal, your vision. It is something that is not visible. It's not tangible. I mean, people cannot really see it. You are the only one with your dream, with your vision, with your goals in life. And so what do you need to make sure that you grow? It comes to manifestation. It's for you to believe in yourself. And when I say believe in yourself, you have to believe in yourself even when it looks as if nothing is working. Because before your breakthrough, there will be a lot of darkness that should make you to retreat. And when you don't, that is where you break through. When the journey is becoming tougher for you, you are very close to your breakthrough. And so, don't give up in life. Don't slow down because you are faced with a lot of challenges. You don't have to, because you yourself, you are a solution. Let me tell you something. Prior to this time, when I was much younger, it's not as if I'm old, but that time I would look at myself because of the challenges, the difficulties, the trials I'm facing as a result of my family and my environment I come from. I would tell myself, why am I born into this family? Why did I come from an environment like this? And it got me thinking. I'm someone that used to think. I think a lot. Maybe that is why I'm not fat. I think a lot. And so why am I born into this family? Why am I born into an environment like this? And a day came into my life when everything changed. And what brought the change? I sat down that day. I said, I am born into this family for a reason. I am born into this environment for a reason. It is not a mistake. I am born into this family and this environment because I am a solution. There is a problem, and so I am born into this family as a solution. So what is the way forward? How will I make my family a better family? How will I make my environment better than the way I met it? That became the mindset I had to develop. And since I got that mindset, I no longer blame my family for any state I am. I no longer blame the environment I come from for being the way I am. I see myself as a solution, and that has really helped me. So, what I want you to do after watching this video is for you to change the way you think. It goes far to helping you to be who you want to be in life. So no longer tell yourself that you are stuck, that you are left behind, that you are not moving forward because of your environment. And let me tell you, when you keep on blaming your environment, you know what happens? You give your environment the power over your future. And trust me, you don't have to hand over your future to your environment, because what will happen? Your environment will dump your future, because it is not the responsibility of your environment to give you a better life. You are supposed to make your environment better than the way you see it. And so always see yourself as a solution. Don't see yourself as a problem. Don't see your environment also as a problem. I want you to see yourself as a solution to anywhere you are. If you don't change your mentality, even if you change your environment, you'll still be getting the same results in your life. Why? Because your mindset have not changed. You still reason the way you reason. And that is why ignorantly, people don't know their problems. They are thinking is the environment. And so they point fingers at others for their downfall, for their insecurity, for the challenges they face in life. But what they don't know is their success, how far they go in life, is determined by how they think. And so, with all this that I've pointed out to you, I know I have been able to clear your doubts. I know I have been able to help you to have a new mind shift, to have a new mentality of always thinking positive in the environment you are. And so don't watch this video alone. Share it also with someone that is trapped, because your environment does not limit you in life, but rather your mindset does. So like this video, comment. I am Dora Bob, your host, and I'll catch up with you in my next video. Take good care of yourself, okay?